As writer Anais Nin once said, "The day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." We constantly face the threshold of our own blossoming, of our rose opening, of our fear burning away, and our soul unfurling its wings, don't we? And we can choose to cross that threshold or resist it. And life will repeatedly give us chances to traverse those thresholds, to grow and transform. And we can resist them and stay closed, or we can go forward bravely into the unknown, knowing we will learn and transform. To reach our full potential as individuals and as a community, to be all we can be in this lifetime. My friends, we must embrace change, hard as it sometimes can be. In the game of life, we are all seekers, tilling the soil of our existence, searching beyond the life we are given for the life that we dream of. Sue Ludwig speaks of this in her evocative poem, Sprout. "I am in search of my life, not the one I was dealt, but the one I want to have," she writes. "Not the one repeatedly stomped into the ground, popping up when I least expect it, but the one where I wake up each day, excited to be on a path, blooming with maybe nothing I expected, but everything I wished for. I have been tending to the hard work. I have unearthed and tilled and reseeded the dead areas. I'm beginning to see sprouts, little glowing green life pushing against gravity, weight of earth to find light. They are in search of their life. They know more than I how to shed the confines of the seed, thank it for its lessons, and grow," she writes. Ludwig's poignant words remind us to search for a life where we awaken each day excited to be alive, to be on a path blooming with unexpected wonders, a life where we embrace the journey of growth and discovery. And her poem speaks of the search for a life not dictated by circumstance, but one actively created by us. We must unearth, till, and reseed the dead areas within us, nurturing the green shoots of potential that emerge. Yet, how many of us realize that transformation is not an easy path? Anyone? Yeah, sometimes it can be downright hard. And it's often uncomfortable, sometimes scary, sometimes painful. And it may seem easier to resist change, to stay with the known or get stuck in the muck. But if we resist, those lessons keep coming to us again and again and again in different guises, don't they? If we resist, we stop ourselves unfurling into that beautiful flower we are meant to be. And as someone who often seems to need intense lessons to learn, I've had plenty of uncomfortable opportunities to transform just this past year. And those of you who are new here might not know, but listen to some of my old sermons and you'll find out. And all of these lessons have required me to learn to trust and surrender to the flow of life, to allow myself to grow despite the fear and the discomfort. And sometimes, believe me, I want to run away or just put my head in the sand and hide from the complexity. But I know deep inside that I have to keep riding the rapids of transformation if I am to live my best life. And last summer, my journey of transformation led me to the wilds of Scotland. where amidst the ancient landscapes, I encountered a profound opportunity to unfurl my wings. I was due to go to the remote island of Iona for a silent Celtic spiritual retreat. Doesn't that sound wonderful? But once again, the universe had other plans for me. They thought I didn't need to be silent, I guess. And reminiscent of my ever-evolving sabbatical earlier that year, I got word that the retreat had been cancelled 3 weeks before I was due to go. Of course, I already had my ticket to Scotland. And mercifully, the renowned Findhorn Foundation, a famous spiritual community near Inverness in Scotland, offered alternative experiences in personal transformation and spiritual growth at their main centre. And you'll see their beautiful community sanctuary here, which is phoenix wings and flames rising out of the ashes, and this beautiful lit sanctuary is part of their community. And what kept calling me to their website, from their website, was something called the Game of Transformation. Sounds a little dangerous, doesn't it? And exciting. The Game of Transformation involved visiting Findhorn's Cluny Lodge, a Victorian mansion, which has a little bit more, drama to it, shall we say. And we stayed there for 5 days, playing a giant board game, 8 hours a day, with 5 participants and 2 trained facilitators. And my fellow players were a mother of 5 from Switzerland, a linguistics professor from Brazil who lived in Germany, a young woman from South Africa, and an English woman vicar. And our facilitators were from Holland and Germany, and they had trained for many years to be facilitators of this game. So it was quite the international crowd. And this unique game isn't just a board game. It's actually a metaphor for life. And Spencer's going to put up our game here. This is the game board in the midst of our game playing there. It's described as a joyful way of understanding and transforming the way you play your life. It's about looking at your life and the kinds of experiences you create, seeing how you react to them, and how you can use these insights for your own growth. And the game helps you clarify old beliefs and attitudes and transform typical reaction patterns that you might have. Now, the players, we each have our own section on the board there. And we move across the board representing our lives, presenting us with choices, free will, and actions. And we encounter challenges and insights and moments of grace. And just like real life, we're given opportunities to evolve, to serve, to love, and to learn. As we embarked on this journey, each of us chose an overarching intention, a playing focus, which guided our path through the game. Some sought to know their purpose in life. Others wanted to break free from old patterns. Some wanted to find their power and authenticity, or change their careers, or know they were worthy of love. And then we also shared a talent or intention we wanted to contribute to the game. And so we rolled the dice of fate, venturing forth into the unknown, where every square that we landed on held a lesson, a challenge, or a blessing. And we all began at the center of that large circular game board. You can see in the middle there where there's those longer sticks. And that was called a source circle. And it's considered a holding place before coming to Earth. And then when we rolled a certain number, we were born onto the game of life. And once on Earth, we each played in our own life map and began encountering experiences and sharing our interpretations of them. And in the game, I quickly recognized reflections of my own life, of the choices that I'd made and the paths I've trodden. I learned what was holding me back, how I deal with setbacks, and how I embrace life. Now, some of us dove headfirst into the fray of life. You might guess who that was, soaking up every experience, living full out, and others held back a little bit and paused to observe and reflect on life and what was happening. But we soon began to notice that every twist and turn held echoes of our own journeys, reminding us of the lessons that we've learned and the growth that we've experienced. And just like life presents us with opportunities and setbacks, we each had to deal with what came up, make choices, and then share stories about our learning and growth around that experience. And our turn continued until we'd learned that particular lesson and felt complete, and then we passed it on to the next person. And my friends, it was uncanny how each person seemed to play the game in exactly the way they approached life. We had the chance to observe our personality navigating life. It was like simultaneously directing and watching a movie of our lives. Yet amidst the individual challenges and triumphs, one truth became really clear. We were all interconnected. We were bound together by our choices, by the threads of our shared humanity. And the choices we individually make ripple outwards, shaping not only our own destinies, but the destinies of all who journey with us. When we modeled generosity, service, and love, we found others were inspired to grow those qualities too. And likewise, people's refusal to learn lessons, their resistance and reactions from the less evolved places impacted us all as well. It was like we couldn't move forward if they didn't. So the game showed us how everything we do, whether positive or negative in life, impacts all those around us, those who come in contact with us, and beyond. And it clearly demonstrated our interdependence. For me, the game held moments of darkness and light, moments of despair and moments of profound insight. While traversing the path of life, I landed on a square called the Dark Night of the Soul, in which I had to experience a period of isolation and self-discovery. I had to go sit in a corner away from the game board with dark sunglasses on, and I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone. And I didn't know when or if I was going to come out of the dark night of the soul. And this profound moment forced me to wrestle with my fears and my doubts and my insecurities. It forced me to listen to my inner voice. And in those darkest moments, I found unexpected grace, kindness, and love. Feeling alone and forgotten for about half an hour of the game, one of my fellow players noticed my suffering and unbidden decided to rescue me from the dark night. And it taught me again that even in the most difficult times, support can emerge from the most unexpected places, right, Nancy? Another impactful moment came with a major initiation into the realm of love. We had to move through physical, emotional, mental, spiritual realms into the realms of love and eventually enlightenment. And it was a profound realization when I was in the realm of love that the more I live a life committed to love and authenticity, the more love will flow from me and come to me. And that major initiation was followed by a period of enforced rest and observation where I had a card saying you've got to go back to the center and stay there indefinitely, which, as you can imagine, was hard for me. Because I like to play the game of life. I like to play full out. So I didn't want to sit there and watch. But it reminded me of the importance of surrender and allowing life to unfold without always forcing and pushing and keeping going energetically. And so I learned to trust in the unfolding of life, to surrender to the rhythm of the universe, knowing that even in the darkest times, there is light waiting to be born. In surrender and in trust, we find the truest freedom and the deepest transformation. And it reminded me when I broke my feet almost exactly a year ago in Portugal. In the depths of pain, loneliness, and challenge, I had to trust that all would unfold in some kind of perfect way. And I surrendered and was taken care of by the river of life and love. It brings to mind a quote by the climate activist and speaker Heather Warman, who reminds us, "For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. And to someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction." Sometimes, my friends, terrifying as it can be, everything has to fall away for us to transform. So the game was life-changing for all its participants. It opened us to healing, growth, and a renewed vision for our lives, and the effects have stayed with me. And while sadly the Findhorn Foundation is currently closed, the deep lessons remain. And if you want the opportunity to play the game of transformation, I am looking into facilitating a game for those interested as an auction event this year. So let me know if you're interested, because it only takes 4 players at a time. So we'll see. Now, as many of you know, transformation is also one of our newly articulated Article 2 values, central to our faith. So how and why are we called as Unitarian Universalists to this value of transformation? Our new Article 2 language describes it as follows. Spencer, if you can put the slide up, and I invite you to read with me the language. Transformation. Read it with me. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Thank you. So this is the only place in Article 2 where the word fundamental is used. So it seems important for us to take openness to change seriously, both as individuals, as a fellowship, and as a faith. And one sure quality of our UU faith is that we are continually evolving with the times, right? And that revelation is never sealed. And this is why our 7 principles are transforming into our new values and covenants. They are an evolution of who we say we are. And of course, our Chalice mission statement, you see it right up there on the wall, reminds us we are a people who transform the world through justice and compassion. We actively transform. So transformation, allowing change and evolution, is a key spiritual practice to us as Unitarian Universalists. And it may, in fact, be a guiding purpose for our lives and our faith. Transformation of ourselves and our world into more loving, compassionate, and equitable ways for all. Yet it may not be easy or even comfortable, right? In fact, often transformation is downright hard, and we go kicking or screaming into it. But resisting change only means you keep repeating the lessons until you get them. And I saw that happen again and again in the game. We must allow the hard shell of our seeds to crack so that our shoots of life can emerge and we can grow into the beautiful flowers or the beautiful vegetables we are meant to be, whichever path you choose. My friends, life is a game of transformation. It is the nature of our ever-evolving universe. Everything is always changing, as process theology teaches us. And to evolve into the highest versions of ourselves, individually and collectively, we must be open to change and transformation. And I invite us to take the balcony view of our lives and see each challenge and each step as a space on the game board of our lives that invites us to learn and transform. And when we're facing challenges, I invite us to look at our life like a game filled with lessons. What opportunity does each challenge bring? How can we learn and evolve from this? The potential for transformation offers us hope in difficult times. Things can get better. And it allows for dreams and visions that life can change. And it invites new beginnings, as we'll be talking about next week. Now, of course, often we try and push ourselves or others to transform. Has anyone been guilty of that? And as children, we're sometimes coaxed or punished into changing with threats or rewards. Anyone done that kind of parenting? And then we use that methodology on ourselves and others as we grow up, trying to force change. But forcing change, more often than not, leads to more resistance, right? Forcing transformation often doesn't lead to lasting change. Instead, true, lasting change, transformation that arises gladly and stays, usually comes from a place of love and compassion. When we hold ourselves and others with kindness, encouragement, and empathy, transformation becomes a lot more palatable, doesn't it? If, for example, you've been trying to launch that exercise routine that you promised yourself at New Year's you were going to do, forcing and pushing yourself to do it like a mad person, it likely won't engender a lasting habit. But if you love your body into a new habit by encouraging it and offering it compassion and deep listening, while holding a vision of your desired outcome, you're much more likely to create a lasting habit change. Now, I have to speak to the elephant in the room because often our transformation isn't chosen. Loss, illness, pain, and suffering, they're just part of our lives. And amid the most painful circumstances, it can help to view our life from above and ask ourselves, I mentioned it earlier, but it's worth mentioning again, what is my opportunity to grow here? And if we approach transformation with curiosity, with courage, with grace and gentleness, we can more easily trust our transformation. In every twist and turn, in every challenge and triumph, we are being called to awaken to the fullness of our humanity and to elevate ourselves and one another through our transformation. We are being asked to embrace the journey of growth and discovery with open hearts and willing minds. So, my friends, as we navigate these liminal times together as a congregation, may we remember the lessons of the game of transformation. May we trust in the unfolding of life and remember that we are not alone in this. Just look around at all these wonderful people here who walk with us. May we embrace the unknown with courage and compassion. And may we watch our journey with awareness and kindness. And may we, like the caterpillar in its cocoon, allow ourselves to dissolve into the primordial goo of transformation, trusting in the promise of our emergence into a beautiful butterfly. May we remember that in every ending, there is a new beginning waiting to emerge, a new seed waiting to germinate. I couldn't resist, with a poem by one of my favorite poets, John O'Donoghue, called For a New Beginning. And he reminds us that even amidst uncertainty, there's always a path of plenitude opening before you. For a New Beginning by John O'Donoghue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander. This beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered. Heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit of adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. My beloveds, may we embrace the adventure of transformation, trust the process, and collectively blossom into our full potential. May it be so.